It's Monday, Madhouse Memorial Monday. Crazy here in southeastern Massachusetts with the holiday. It's like a zombie living dead episode or something. Walking Dead, whatever it's called. Nobody around. We're gonna be doing some chess here, guys. 5+3 through 7+3 challenges. Subscribers first. We've only got one challenge thus far. Draco Fire. FIDE Master Fugu might join us a little bit later. He is actually, I would say, more dangerous than most FIDE Masters that I've encountered. At least the ones like recently given their title by FIDE. So we'll see if FIDE Master Fugu can join us before the end of the stream. International Master William Pascal here. We are going to be playing 5+3 through 7+3. And that reminds me, I should invite another friend of mine to a future stream. Now that I'm in the United States, I might actually have more resources to get someone to visit the stream. I mean, I've got friends in Hungary, but they're all like grandmasters. I have to pay them to be on the stream and stuff. All right, guys. Mr. Coffee, Move 11, Asterbait, JCS. Thanks, everyone. Soltigo, of course. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Stream looks good. We're green. Hopefully the lag won't be like yesterday. I don't know if it's like the simul itself. Nope, we're up to 364 just to kick it right off. Maybe it's actually the OBS that causes the massive lag, because right before I started OBS... Well, even if I have a lag problem, guys, I'll probably be switching. I can switch computers in about 3 weeks, so it won't last forever. I have my other machine being shipped special delivery, Mr. Rogers. Bringing back the Mr. Rogers reference, that's old school. Special delivery, speedy delivery. Alright, enough silliness. Draco fires up first. I'm going to just take this challenge. Check out chesslecture.com, guys. My old stomping grounds. Get a discount rate of 3 months for $15 at chesslecture.com. Check out the link in the Twitch stream. Okay, Dracofire playing the English. Now, he's a guy... Is it my imagination, or was he... I should look into XSplit. I had tried to use that once, but I never really learned it. But I don't think that's the real problem. I think the real problem is my internet connection. And also this computer is not really that powerful to be doing a lot of things at once. Alright. But anyway, excuses. Dracofire opens with a c4. He was playing b4 a lot. Now he's expanded to c4. Let's try this. Back in my first early days, I used to like to meet the English with c4, e5. I mean, it is the most combative way of playing. Let's try bishop b4. Going to stand in the mic room. You're talking about... Asterbait is talking about... chop right away. I lost a famous game against Alex Kalkstein that was in Inside. It was published in Inside Chess. This was like circa 1993. He never moved a central pawn and just like wasted me. But here I guess we can kind of mix it up, try different stuff. Kind of a hybrid. I have played bishop takes c3 before, and that was the Kalkstein game, which didn't go very well. You don't like the way the Shamrock moves. Move 11, is it making you seasick? Because it has that effect on me. Try not to look at it too long. But thank you for the donation, man. 97, taking the lead in the bits donations. Started a new week here, being Monday. Now Dracofire played e3. That looks kind of dubious. But maybe not. The fact that I played c6, it has an effect on this position. It has actually a kind of big effect. Almost legitimizing e3. If I hadn't played c6, I'd be taking there without an even second thought. But the fact of the matter is, like, this diagonal could be kind of squishy. Squishy diagonal. So I'll let you get away with it for now. This is basically like a Rosslimo with colors reversed. Not like one. I mean, it is one. Hey guys, what's up? Turkey Farm, Move 11. Thanks again, Juicebox Wizard. What's up, man? Good to see you guys. So I'm trying out something I don't play that often. I mean, the black side of the Rosalimo, basically. Abu Fazl, a long time no see. Saw you spectating one of my brilliant Blitz games earlier. I've been playing really badly. Yesterday I lost to a 1500 in like a totally winning position. I just kind of let down my guard and dropped my queen. Just put my queen like on prees, and it took him 10 seconds to take it. I was like, wait, maybe it'll be one of those situations where you just believe the other guy, but the guy just took my whole queen for nothing. I couldn't hold on against a 1500 with queen odds. So our blitz rating is dropped, but this is rapid chess, 7+3. We can rebuild the blitz rating. I have confidence. We'll get back to 2500 in blitz. Astrobate in second place on the bits donation table there. This is your chance, guys, to be a leader. But seriously, thanks everyone for the support, week in and week out. Tomorrow we'll have our blitz tournament. I think we'll do a blitz, maybe 5+2. 5+2 instead of 7+2. Last week was rapid. Do you guys want to do rapid? No. We're going to do something different. Got to find excuses for hitting the no button. All right, now, this actually, strangely enough, is almost back into kind of a normal line here. Kind of making me want to take on d4. Make me do that. I'm looking at d6, just keeping the tension, or possibly taking. I'm not a huge fan of e4, but that's a possibility. Even that's a possibility. d6 looks like a line I've played before, a sort of interesting possibility. Taking on d4. Now that I think about it, I'm not super excited about queen takes d4, actually. So we'll play this. It happens to everyone. No big problem. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't dropped a queen against a 1500 in a long time. I was like totally winning, and I just don't know. I just wanted to finish him off, and I saw this invading move with my queen, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. I actually planned it like the move before. Little did I know it was protected by a knight when I went there. He had like 50 seconds left. There was no way he could mess it up. That's the lowest rated player, like, not using computer who I've ever lost to on lichess. It's pretty embarrassing, though. You know, the 1,000-point upset. All right, so here, my bishop out on a5, snake Benoni. It's a pretty weird situation. Another old Indian-like situation. Vote nay. Don't confuse everyone. We're not having a vote now. I got 5 challenges, guys. I will take the subscribers first. So Morales, Juicebox Wizard, Move 11, Nefidov, Abu Fazl. He's not a subscriber. I haven't seen him in a while. Good to see him back. Yellow Dragoon, what's up, man? What's up with the chess? I've seen you occasionally, logged on to lichess. But are you busy with school? Do you ever get to play since your last tournament? I'm in the U.S. I'm not going to be playing, as far as I know, anytime soon, which is probably a good thing because my results last year were pretty bad. Nefidov, starting trouble. Nefidov, you know I don't like to play strong players. All right. You're very busy with school. That's more important, man. Don't end up like me. Get a real career. I love chess, but I have regrets, All right. We will always have regrets, no matter what we do, though, seriously. But get an education. Even I got an education. Even I got a college degree. Even though I don't use it, I can say that I did, just in case. So Dracofire plays d5. Intuitively, I want to take on d5, but we have a problem with knight takes d5. The backwardness of The first problem is the backwardness of our d-pawn. The primary problem. Backwardness of d-pawn. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes, knight takes. How does he recapture with the queen? I can play something weird like knight to b6. Which is pretty strange and not really thrilled about it. This looks like a good move by white. Regrets, we always have regrets. It's just a matter of looking at it positively or negatively. How we look at the world's perception versus reality. I mean, people who are like billionaires, they're like depressed for whatever reason. You're a troublemaker. Nefedov can't take a joke. I get criticisms all the time, Nefedov, that I never play strong players. I mean, just kidding around. Too serious, Nefedov. Alright, knight takes d5. I didn't really mean anything by it. I was concerned about knight takes d5, and I think now I'm now fine. So this is a big positional mistake by Drakefire. He's still okay, but I would say like queen takes would be better for white because of the backwardness of my d-pawn. After c takes, he no longer has an advantage. You know, I would say it's even possible that white is a tad overextended. A tad. So I'm very relieved to see pawn takes because queen takes looked really nasty. I just don't know if I have enough activity there to justify my bad backward pawn on d6. Knight c5, not a good idea here. It would be a nice outpost, but okay, first off, we have some issues. a6. a6 mystery move. I'm thinking maybe save the bishop back to a7. Guys, we have a Discord. We have a Discord channel, Pub Sladgie. So if you guys want to check out the Discord, you can get a password from Soltigo, our moderator here. If you want to hang out, if you're a good guy and a supporter of the stream, or girl, or animal, or plant, what have you. I don't mean to be discriminatory. Bishop c5. We like this diagonal, the new diagonal. So Drakefire plays bishop e3. On paper, that is a really questionable decision. But he trades pieces, simplifies the situation. It's probably not that bad, would be my general opinion on the matter. Gotta watch my f7. Now, what do we do? a5 with a new structure. Totally new idea. I just played a6, now I'm playing a5. The position like totally changed. 1 minute I'm thinking like, oh, I need to put the bishop on the long diagonal. I'll play bishop c5, bishop a7. Now he's changed the whole situation, so I'm thinking blockade with knight on c5. Queen b6 is interesting. I had one. Pub has a lunchbox where the lunchroom, where we basically, well, actually, Soltigo's a cook, and I, enjoy amateur cooking, so it's a hobby here on the stream. I had a chopped onion in my coffee 5 minutes before the stream started because I was preparing some onion burgers. And I was drinking my coffee and I was like, plah, what is that slimy soft thing in my coffee? I just couldn't imagine what it was. And there it was, a piece of onion. I was very relieved. Slimy, soft things could pretty much be a wide variety of items. So, finding out it was an onion was not that bad. Anyway, could have been worse, Mr. Coffee. So, Dracofire, I don't like his structure. He does have some space. But there's always a risk of overextending yourself. My biggest concern was actually knight a4, trading pieces there. We've gotten out of the woods as far as that's concerned. So I'm relieved not to see knight a4. I don't know if Dracofire thought about it, but I was very, very worried about it. Now, b5. Apple Fossil's talking about b5, but I don't see how I can play it. How can I play b5? It has to be prepared. Preparations are in place. This is a hell of a bishop, though, isn't it? What a bishop. That's like super bishop. Thematic. Will support b5. That's a really strong move from Dracofire. I mean, perhaps like rook e7 was more awkward than necessary. I mean, I could have played rook f8. I was reluctant to play f6, of course, and weaken my king side. Dracofire has a very little bit of counterplay going on here. The temptation is, I'm trying not to create weaknesses in my position. We're hitting in with b5. b5 is queen, b5 bishop a6. Ah, but he had knight b5 at one moment. Did he not? I love the My Little Pony emote. It should be here. Where is the My Little Pony emote? We got bronies. The brony emote. Can we get a brony emote or not? A3 is a good move. Alright, we gotta go for it. Now he just falls apart, no? Do we have a place to go with Mr. Knight at the end of the day? But Dracofire getting in time pressure. Rook f3 was very awkward. Bob, I mean, if someone is bothering you, yeah, I'm sorry about that. But, they're naturally attracted to your sympathetic nature. Uh-oh. Rook h3 is a very subtle idea here. I'm about to flag. Please don't let me flag now. f6 weakening the old king side. Time was just too much. Alright, let's move on to the next game. Lots of challenges, guys. Yellow Dragoon's challenging. Arthur Kale's challenging us to rated. I don't want to play rated. I already lost like 100 rating points this week. Okay. Let me play one more game. I want to play Yellow Dragoon. Even though he's not a subscriber, he's a former subscriber. He's a strong player. And I don't play enough people my own rating, obviously. But I don't want to play him yet because I'm not warmed up. Let's play one more warm-up game, against one of the subscribers. Then I'll take on Yellow Dragoon. If he's ready, though, He's always ready. Let's play Morales. Get further warmed up here. I feel like I'm not quite up to speed yet. Usually, like, toward the middle of the stream, I'm playing my best. Yellow Dragoon is that strong now? Well, I think he's always been that strong. I mean, since he started playing on my stream like a year ago, he was pretty tough. I don't know, man. I mean, he was pretty much toe-to-toe. He was toe-to-toe against me last year this time when he first started playing on my stream. All right, let's go. So, you know, he seems like a good player to me. D4. What are we doing? Oh, we're in for a treat. You haven't played a rated game in a while? Pretty rusty now. I mean, just I'm warming up in terms of like being awake, sort of like mentally awake. It's not a question of playing, but afternoons are terrible for me. I feel like I'm falling asleep every day at 4 o'clock, and it's been 2 weeks since I've been in the United States. I'm gonna play something different. Normally I've played knight bishop f4 against Morales, but we'll try our backup variation, the Soviet chess conveyor. I feel like when I play this, I'm playing the French Rubinstein with colors reversed. It's kind of like what it is, really. Except black, of course, hasn't played d5. This was recommended in an old compendium of Soviet chess articles called the Soviet chess conveyor. Is it possible to gambit your rook as white against the Budapest? Whoa. That's a random question. Arsenal fan, what's up? Steam stuffed dumplings as I warm up. I'd like some. Now you made me want Chinese food. Check out our Discord, Yellow Dragon. We have a special room just for food. I haven't had steamed dumplings in a while. Or any kind of dumpling, Chinese dumplings in a while. It sounds really good. Yeah, awesome. Take a picture with your mobile and put it in there. You're inspiring me. I hadn't thought about getting Chinese food. I don't really like the Chinese. I don't like the Chinese food in Budapest that much. I guess it's all right, but I like American Chinese food. The American Chinese American Chinese food is so much more authentic than Hungarian Chinese food. You know what? I took on e5, but I really should think about one of my favorite stratagems here is actually to like let black take on f3 and play it like a gf caro with colors reversed. So probably I should just play like bishop c3 right away. Now we're just literally playing like a Rubinstein French setup. Boston's really good for Chinese food, but I don't live in Boston. Unfortunately, I used to. Really expensive, man. I mean, the rents in Boston are out of this world. If I ever move back to the United States, I don't think I could afford to live in Boston. Even Chinatown used to be really affordable. You could like rent a loft in Chinatown. I imagine even today, like that's even like crazy expensive. So, all right, what are we doing here? We're trying to be kind of dynamic with this weird line against the Budapest, but we're ending up like slightly behind in development ourselves. The one game I ever played this was like in Canada. I think the North Bay. Nope, what they called that. They did a tournament in North Bay, and I played some guy. I don't remember who it was now, like a 2200 maybe. Couldn't get anything. I mean, it's not a very aggressive formation, but I like the fact that white can toy with the idea of castling queenside, which is really rare. I mean, think about how often do you castle queenside against the Budapest Gambit. That's right. What? I was paying 1,000. Oh, 1,100 a month. That's Morales, who was in Boston. Right, for like half an apartment, basically. You know, you're paying like 1,100 for half an apartment or less. That's crazy, but that's the way it is. Yeah, I remember back in the day when it was half that much. Okay, but I'm living in the suburbs. Not even the suburbs, further than the suburbs. I'm at the beach. Okay, bishop e2, d6. We're still lagging in development, still flirting with castling long. Do I really want to go castle long here? I like the romanticness of... Is that a word? The romanticism of castling queenside, but is it realistic here? This is actually kind of a standard anti-Budapest knight maneuver, but it doesn't do anything special in this exact position. He who doesn't have discoveries will just have to retreat his bishop back, or else let me take it, which may not be that bad. Actually, in a similar position, I allowed knight takes c5, one of our weird Wednesday streams. Not that bad to allow knight takes c5. I'm enjoying Sam Adams' Boston Lager right now. Bob says, I don't get why city people do it to themselves. Well, I think when you've been raised in the city and you lived in the city, you get used to that kind of pace of life, and you can't really imagine living anywhere else. I've lived in the city, I've lived in the suburbs. I've never really lived in the country. But I guess I could get used to that. I always thought like it would be funny, or it would be nice to retire and you know, sit back in a rocking chair somewhere. Rook d8. He's like, dare you to take on c5. Oh, I remember now. It was against none less than my last strong opponent, Tom Bartel. I think was the game where I let him take on c5. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much makes sense. Now, he really might be threatening to play... I'm very definitive, aren't I? Like, he might be threatening to play knight takes c4. Someone was getting on me about that. My lack of, like, definitiveness when I make statements. I try to, like, be on the fence all the time. I'm just not that crazy about knight takes c5 here. I mean, he has such good control of the d file. Seems like we shouldn't even consider it. But on the other hand, is he threatening to take my guy for real? For reals? He's for real threatening knight takes c4. So, that's kind of awkward. I'm going to retreat my knight away. I mean, white has a sort of theoretical advantage here in the sense that I have a strong center pawn on c4. He doesn't have one. But he has a lot of play. You know, maybe d5, maybe a5, etc. Full-on trolling now. Kind of an unhealthy thing to become an internet troll, I think. Something is not okay. Knight h5 starting to look interesting. Do we go for this? Am I going too far? Another question. Yellow Dragoon, you're a young guy. You're a good player, and I don't think you forgot everything in like a few months. Playing like God emote. I have this like dementia at the age of 39. Wait till you get to be 39. The symptom is trolling, but the cause is narcissistic society. Yeah, we have lots of good role models in the world today. Bishop to b4. Well, I mean, I think the d5 is really what's going on around here at some point. You know, he's going to try to punk me out with d5. That's what it's all about, man. Trying to achieve d5, the critical point d5. The troll situation was pretty good, but we got, you know, those bitter cheaters who come back and then troll us. Bishop b4. How dare could I accuse someone of being a cheater after they had like 2 accounts banned from lichess? What am I thinking? Like, how could I imagine that's possible? All right. I don't know what to do here. Kick him out. And then I'm coming back here to just hone our control of the center. Even Nefedov remembers this guy. It's the same guy, man. He's had several different accounts. That was just one of the ones that was banned by lichess. And I gave him a lot of time, you know, and I was really patient, but it's just enough. Enough is enough, you know. I don't want to see him on my stream anymore. If he starts to troll me, we'll just have to go to war. I don't know. All right, Queen f6, really nice game by Morales though. Kind of positional battle for key central squares. White has a theoretical advantage, but I have been forced to make relatively significant would be a better word, significant weakening of my queen side. I had a sudden fear, whatever. Sudden fear that he was gonna like not take on d5, and White has just a minuscule advantage here. The so-called mainstream media, all of them. I mean, aren't like most people affected by the mainstream media? Anyone who takes part in it, I guess. Anyway, enough political discussion. Trolls are affected by the mainstream media. Alright, now we got a new plan. We've got the minority attack on the queen side, for lack of a better idea. Almost a purely strategic struggle. We had a few little tactical ideas there. What do you think of Duncan Suttles? I never obviously met Duncan Suttles. When did he... Is he even dead? Can we get a confirmation? Is Duncan Suttles even dead? Positive way of looking at it, right? I'm just assuming he's like passed away because he's an really old school legend, but you never know. I mean, he may actually be alive. Morales is just a machine. Now, he's avoiding exchanges of queen. My ever alert tactical awareness just only effective if it's like handed to me. But this was fortunate, that I can just win masses of material. All right, Morales. Tough game. I think it was really equal, like, for a very long time. Balanced. I should use the word balanced rather than equal. To be honest with you, like, I would say the whole thing was okay for black, like, right until move 26. I would evaluate this as, okay, microscopically better for white. But I'll look at that. It's like plus 0.2, 0.1. We just degenerate when it gets to really low on time. That's all. I mean, it's a good game. Unfortunately, like, we just don't have enough time. So Suttles is still living. I'm so sorry, Duncan Suttles. The thing about Duncan Suttles, and this goes for many other chess players too, this is a guy who, like, I guess, he's been inactive chess-wise since as long as I can remember. I mean, he played like in the 70s, and when someone's inactive for like 35 years, you kind of assume they might have passed on or something. Apparently he's still alive. So creative player, was kind of an expert in some lines of the modern defense. Not the only interesting Canadian player. I mean, there's like Lawrence Day. He was also a really creative guy. Yeah, I mean, I think the Budapest is... I toyed with the idea of playing the Budapest myself. I really did. But it's not easy, All right, so I'm gonna take the challenge here with the Yellow Dragoon. You can see what our score is. He's actually up 8.5, 7.5. I was dominant in the beginning, then he overwhelmed me. We haven't played in a while. He challenged me. In fact, he's so out of date, he challenged me to A+3. Probably about a year ago I stopped doing A+3, but it's cool. This will be our feature game of the day. We don't have to change the time control. It's fine, Yellow Dragoon. I'm doing like a maximum of 7+3 for the most part, but this will be our highlight of the day. So, yeah, I remember losing a Caro-Kann against him once, like in the mainline Caro-Kann, and, well, I must have played the Sicilian. I want to play something that I know, The thing that seemed the most problematic for me against Yellow Dragoon was the fact that, well, he's good all around, but he seemed like he was especially kind of well prepared in the openings. He told me that he was working with Sam Collins, was a guy who's written some books, and an Irish IM who I actually met and played in Budapest a long time ago. I mean, it was like back in like 2005 or something. I don't remember. Knight C3. All right, so we're gonna face some sort of Gawain Jones stuff now. The Gawain Jones attack. But this is kind of, out of date now. I saw one guy, you guys sent me some games of one of those grandmasters who's doing simul's on lichess. He played like G6 after bishop B5. I mean, I think white should just take on C6 right away there. Just have a pretty good Grand Prix attack. The Yellow Dragoon, actually, I had a couple games recently with somebody. I think it was Muleskinner. Was that you were actually one of the Muleskinner, right? In this exact position. So D3 A6. Does that seem right? Am I supposed to play A6 right away? Is that a thing? He's talking about being rusty. It's okay. It's better if you're young and rusty than old and senile. I just can't remember stuff because I'm losing like gray matter or something. I don't know. He can't remember because he's been busy studying physics or something. Yeah, but anyway. I mean, am I supposed to play a6? I still don't know what the best way of playing is. By the way, crazy idea. I was thinking this during one of my games. No, you can't play knight takes e4 because there's got to be something wrong with knight takes e4. I'm not even going to go there. All right, it's my move. It's been my move for like half an hour now. a6. There's the trap, you know, the known trap with d5. Mule Skinner and I already talked about that. And this was my game with Mule Skinner the other day. You know, I guess this is like main line. I have a new DVD teaching set out. Well, not me personally. I did a chess video series for the chess world. Actually, iChess was talking to me about doing one, but I've been so crazy helping my mom, and with some crazy stuff going on here, I haven't had time to really record any new videos for quite a while. I also did I did a video series on the Blumenfeld Gambit, which I thought was pretty good. An opening that's not really well covered in chess literature. Also for the chess world. But I haven't recorded anything new since last year. Well, the end of last year. I'd like to do more videos, just haven't had time. So, Mule Skinner played f4 against me, and then this move is the other move that Aronian played against, don't remember who it was. The Sladgie method, exactly. Well, that's what I'm supposed to do. But number one, I don't have my computer that I need to record videos, and number two, I've got some personal things I have to work out helping my mom. So I haven't had a lot of time to, you know, do additional work on top of like my normal schedule, lessons and streams and stuff. But there will be a Sladgie method eventually. So this was similar but different to our Mule Skinner games. Kind of makes you wonder, should I play knight g4 or something crazy there? h6. Yellow Dragoon's from the UK. He's probably close friends with Gawain Jones. I had the bad feeling that I lost to Yellow Dragoon in this line before. Now it's all coming back to me. You know, there was a Gawain Jones game, and that's why it's like clinging to my memory. You know, a few brain cells are not dead yet, and I think that I went into some line where there's this piece sacrifice that just like kills me. So, h6, bishop h4, g5, pawn takes pawn. It's pretty optimistic. I mean, I don't know. Does that actually work or do anything? Like crazy. Weakening my king side. It looks totally wrong. Totally wrong and mental. Then there's like d5, just central. I mean, b4 looks weird to me. I mean, knight goes there. I normally don't like to play this kind of French structure. But I remember something bad happened when I played Yellow Dragoon last time. I did like h6, and if I remember correctly, I just played routine moves and bad things happened to me. And it turned out that we were following some preparation. He maybe didn't know the Gawain Jones game, but he found enough of it that it was just hard for me to deal with. Don't love d5 that much. But intuitively, I mean, it just feels like a fundamental type of move that should be okay for black to play in French style. The problem is I don't really play the French, so I'm not that comfortable in this type of structure in general. I lean toward not playing d5 in the closed Sicilian. We could even take with the pawn here. I mean, that's not totally absurd. What's the word? But no, I mean, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. Bishops against knights. Closed position. With 16 pawns on the board, I don't think the knights are worse than bishops in general. You know, that's a realization I came to a little while ago. That I always kind of overvalue the bishops. You have to consider the situation. You know, with so many pawns clogging the board, the bishops just can't really be better than knights. How many moves do average you calculate when playing over the board tournaments? It's very dependent on the position. I mean, I calculate certain situations much more, in others almost nothing. You know, it just really depends. That's a lame answer, I know, but I mean, my intuition here is to play like queen b6 to maximize pressure, tension. Castle queen side, obviously. He's not messing around. All right, now I really don't want to see like f5, so I'm going to play g6. He must have considered it very seriously. You know, the possibility of playing f5 earlier, debated it and decided it wasn't that clear, but it was his most aggressive plan. He opted not to do it. The problem with c takes d4, bishop c5, he's got a revolving knight. The other one goes back to e2. So I was kind of hoping to, you know, somehow play this in the right, let's say, order of moves or something like that. Think like Varusian Jacobian with the French. Bishop c6. I'm a player who's come to appreciate how powerful a bishop can really be on d7 lately. In order to progress in chess, one must prefer bishops. It depends. It depends. That's the answer to the cop-out always. Is it depends on the situation. But, you know, okay, in a vacuum, the bishop is a slightly stronger piece. That's why in the old books, if I have like an old American chess player's handbook from like the early part of the 20th century, that book actually has a index in the front where it says the values of the pieces. I think this is Staunton wrote this book, and it literally says bishop is 3.5 points and the knight is 3. That's, I think, really cool. I mean, kind of a collector's item essentially. So I decided that my bishop is worth only 3 points. This bishop is not worth 3.5 points. This one is worth only 3. I mean, yeah, Mo. Okay, at some beginner's level, I could kind of see that. I could see how, you know, knights are forking things. For beginners, that's kind of tricky. They're trickier pieces to work with than the bishop. But once you progress past the totally amateur level, I think you start to see the value of the bishops. I'm just such not a French defense player. This feels weird to effectively play the French defense. My evaluation for this position is close to level. Again, like level, not equal, imbalanced, but level. I think in the end game you see how strong bishops are versus knights. That's when it really becomes clear. You have an outside pawn and a bishop, and then it's just like, yeah. I mean, the opposite can be true. You can have all your pawns in the wrong color, and the knight just totally dominating the bishop. Nefedov thinks black is better. He's trying to make me overconfident. C3. Well, my king is clearly not meant to be where it's at right now. I can always castle, though. And we're going to have to just time castling for the right moment. I think that Yellow Dragoon is like essentially trading his A pawn for this B pawn. But I have to be careful when I castle. He doesn't have some sort of F5 nastiness. This move I sort of underestimated. Okay, let's calculate. If I let him take, I take with the bishop. Should I castle? I drop the pawn on A5. I've got to do something. But his position has a lot of weaknesses. I mean, his pawns are weak. He has a back rank problem. I think that outweighs the one single factor of my A pawn being weak. I think he has more problems than me in the long run here. Then, we don't have to calculate in that sense. So, this in-between move. With the in-between move, I'm threatening bishop b4. Rook takes, bishop b4. Yeah, he's definitely out of practice. But I think he was fine. He used more time than he usually would in our previous games. It seems like he's out of practice on time. The position is probably okay. But Yellow Dragon was much slower than he's been when he's in form. It looks like he's actually okay here, I thought. Nefedov said I'm better, but I'm not so sure. I don't think I'm that much better. I mean, c3 was a risky move, but still might be okay. Yeah, I was surprised by queen takes. I actually expected you to take back with the b pawn here. And if you trade the b3 for the a5, it may not be that bad. Let's see the queen takes. And I also like to check the opening, like who left book here. The computer wants to play king d7. That is absolutely mental. Like, can you imagine playing king d7 here? Wow. That's craziness. Move 11 just subscribed 11 months in a row. Check out c takes d4, bishop c5. You didn't understand his d4? Well, he was nervous I would play d4. You know, when you see my bishop's on the long diagonal on c6, it can become a monster if he doesn't play d4. So there's a lot of questions. All right. So I think the thing that's most noticeable, Yellow Dragoon, is your time. You know, you're usually faster than me, and you were actually slower than me. So anyway, man, thanks for playing, and you know, you let me even the score. We're 8.5, 8.5 now. All right, GG. But Arsenal fan was asking a question concretely about one variation. I'm not quite sure like which position he wanted to play c takes d. In which moment, Arsenal fan? Like here? At which point, Arsenal fan, do you remember? You wanted to play c takes d? I mean, in general, I never want to do anything that breaks the tension. You know, I just want to increase the tension, increase the pressure before bishop c6. Okay. You know, bishop c6 was designed to play b4. But actually, Arsenal plays the French, so maybe he, you know, appreciates this more than most people. Before bishop c6, so queen d2 here, c takes d4. My problem is that he's got the revolving knights, you know. I mean, it's okay to play this. But I think as long as he can do that, he's got a pretty solid grip, you know, and then I don't really know what to do. But if we take it by the computer's evaluation, this was equally good, you know, basically. I should have just played an open Sicilian, actually. Well, you did crush me the last time we played this. So, you know, you were maybe remembering that or something. I don't know. But I'm curious about the opening. You know, Arsenal fan, to be fair, I mean, your idea seems totally legit. We're in book up to bishop g5, and I have the feeling that last time I played h6, and most people play the tempting h6. I might have done something else. You know, it's possible I played d6. I don't recall. But I got in trouble. And Stockfish is down with the d5. Well, I think the idea of b4 there is to play bishop a6. That's another plan, absolutely, Arsenal. That's totally a standard Steinitz French type of idea. Speaking of Rouge and Jacobian again. So d5. I played this. He took on f6. And that's been played once. There's just a couple games here. Nobody famous. The first game smells of correspondence chess. Actually, the first two reek of correspondence chess. And then the second two, I know that Muhammad Tassir is a real player. Antonio Kovacevic, I don't think I ever heard of him. So, but I was surprised that he took on f6. It's interesting, but maybe it's best just to play like e5. I didn't think this was such a big deal, like knight g4, bishop takes e7. But maybe this is a problem for white, you know? I mean, queen d2 and then d4, and I'm simply opening the long diagonal with a knight there. That's kind of nasty. That's kind of nasty unless white can break it up with b4. Anyway, this is one of these games. More questions than answers. Guys, let's get back to the challenges. Astrobait is up next. I'm going to take all the subscriber challenges I can get. Thanks, Move11, Rufus, and Doofus. Thanks for playing, Yellow Dragoon. JCS. So you guys donated bits today. I'd like to thank you for that. All right, Astrobait is up. Let's play e4. Finished my beer. I'm feeling good. I didn't say no, you're wrong. He said you are trying to make me overestimate my position. I try not to say no, you're wrong because I don't know everything, you know. This is what someone was getting on my case recently for being too wishy-washy. Maybe I'm actually too wishy-washy though in my commentary. Nefedov. You know, it's possible that I always stand on the fence too much. And I don't like to be wrong. You know, if we never ever put ourselves on the line, we never put ourselves on the line. Let's try a Rossalimo. Bits are just a way of donating to streamers here on lichess, on Twitch. You can buy bits through Twitch and donate, and they like make little animated movements on the stream. It's cool. So no fighting with each other, guys. Bishop b5, d6. That's my variation. And, alright. I'm going to take here. I played this so much with black. Bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and then castles. How many times have I played this with black? I can't even begin to remember. Both tournament games and blitz games. Truthfully, okay, e6 now. I think that's probably a serious error. I normally play e5 often with black. The safer move is probably knight f6. I've played both, depending. e5's riskier, but e6 seems like a mistake. You had a dragonfly on the screen. That's kind of cool, man. The yellow dragon. The yellow dragonfly. I've got a... Master Fugu is coming to visit. You guys see Master Fugu? Fide Master Fugu. Promised he would come to visit today. There he is. Just to prove that I'm a fish. Master Fugu. Fide Master Fugu overlooking. Watching the stream. He's like the guardian. He looks like a Minecraft guardian. Modeled after this guy. Master Fugu. Fide Master Fugu. Coming to prove you guys are right or wrong. He's here to keep an eye on us at all times. But anyway, he'll be back a little bit later in the show. All right, so 97, the pawn wall. You know, now I guess we take on d6 because the queen is kind of awkward. Let's see what Acerbate does here. He's got the bad structure. But worse things could happen to black in this position. I play Minecraft confirmed. Well, I know what guardians are shaped like. They're clearly shaped like blowfish. Queen takes d6. You can't fool me. Now here Acerbate has a subtlety that might be better. You should keep this in your notebook, Acerbate. Like the ability of playing knight f5. It might be a better way to like pick up the pawn at your leisure. You know, you can play knight f5. It's got a really good path. And just recapture on d6 whenever you want, with whatever you want. Nefedov said she refused to eat fugu. You guys remember the Simpsons episode where Homer is like going to die because he ate poisoned blowfish? That's one of the great all-time Simpsons episodes. All right. Can you blame her after watching The Simpsons? Knight c3. Okay, so we just got a better structure, but Nefedov, distracting me. You got knight f5, knight d4, Acerbate here. You know, he has... Mr. Fugu will get a Discord. I think Mr. Fugu has to get a Discord. There are too many great Simpsons episodes. Yeah, it's hard to really say, like... I think any episode where Homer Simpson almost dies, though, is like an instant classic. All right, knight f5. Good idea. Easy to play, though. I think the biggest handicap for black this is something that I learned from Roman, also from Nimzovich, but Gingy used to play against this bishop specifically. Like in the Grand Prix attack, I would watch him just mow people down. The bishop that doesn't exist. It was kind of like an enlightening thing for me to watch Roman Gingiashvili playing blitz. He would play these Grand Prix attacks. He would just kill the bishop on c8, and then it would be like, black is just down a piece. It's not even a question of pawn structure or anything like that. He just effectively would be like down a piece. If Azerbaijan can get the bishop out, pawn wall variation of the Rossalimo, black does like d6, g6, e6, eventually achieves e5, that bishop can live. But that's the question, can the bishop get out and actually exist? Right, I mean, bishop a6, okay, but we can play b3 and lock it down, then it's going to be tough going for that bishop. Now, other things can happen, like we could loosen our dark squares. But I think this is a totally straight out Nimzovich kind of thing. We're just e5 square over protect, better pawn structure, outposts for the pieces. Probably we need to start thinking about just concretely trying to win that pawn on c5, though. Not a small matter. I agree, Arsenal fan. That's also a cool episode. Now, how can I put some pressure on this c pawn? We play... I mean, b3 is useful anyway. So we're doing this. We're surveilling that pawn. I look better shaved. I was just thinking of growing my beard out. Now, Azerbaijan he's sacrificing a pawn to achieve e5 and liberate the bishop. This is kind of a key moment. I mean, I may not get a second chance to win this pawn. Period. I mean, it is sort of sick taking the pawn-like bishop on d6, but if I can dismantle his center, I mean, you kind of have to almost do it. If I play bishop b2, it's just no more time for that. And I think I have to take it. Rook takes e5 almost opens me up to tactics. Another thing for Azerbaijan, I mean, it's semi-possible that like obstacle or bishop position come up where he's sort of hanging on. Though I don't like his isolated pawns. Yellow Dragon says, is Hungary a good country to live in? I think it's a good country to live in overall. Not to get political, but I do like the fact that, there's like socialized medicine and like socialized healthcare. But as far as like cost of living, it's like half as much as the West. So if you do something like I do, I'm working online, I pay my taxes in the United States, but I'm, living in a country where the cost of living is significantly lower. It's much easier, for me. Financially, my money goes a lot further. So in that sense, it's cool. Chess-wise, it's cool. Like, it's got a really rich history with chess. There's a lot of strong players. There's tons of tournaments. Not big prizes, but lots of good chess teachers if you want to learn. And also, I think it's just a cool place. I mean, there's a lot of tourists from the UK, for example. Budapest is pretty popular right now. I mean, just tons of people on the street. You can just see it's doing very well. Hungary, I'm talking about Budapest in particular, but it's the capital city. And a lot of people speak English. That wasn't as much the case, let's say, 20 years ago when I first went, but now, I mean, I did learn the language. I speak Hungarian on like the first grade level, but it's good enough, for what I need to do. So I've never been talented for languages, though. Knight discoveries. There is no good discovery, sadly. So f6 remains a reasonable move. I'm tempted to play knight g6, but it doesn't do anything, you know? It's like rook e8, that's a joke. And I'm running out of time. Masturbate, I would say he's playing a bit too fast for the time control. Against a much higher rated player, I would take more time, sir. But it's up to you. My bishop is pretty dead now. Don't really know what to do. Just gonna go back. That was a bad move, though. Actually, a really bad move. I am really bad. Like, knight f3 is a flat-out blunder, actually. Wow, that is just absurd move. Where's the blowfish? Don't forget another beer, please. Make it sure. I get criticized for the way I say beer in Hungarian. It sounds like the word for beer and the word for like row or is kind of similar. And then they always make fun of the way I say beer. This was a terrible move to play knight f3. There are a lot of tourists from the UK. Okay, I got the message. Well, I mean, you know, the United Kingdom has a lot of low, what do you call it? You know, discount airfare companies like Ryanair and stuff like that. I mean, they have tons of cheap flights to Budapest. I think more so than any other country, probably, Nefedov, to tell you the truth. I mean, you've got Wizz Air. I guess that's like German. Yeah, this is the move. Nice job, Nefedov, to find bishop d5. I mean, I just spaced on this. This is horrific. And my knight has no squares to go to. It's an absolute disaster for white that I let this happen. Now I have to pull the knight back to like d2 and jump through all sorts of hoops to reorganize my position without anything crazy happening. But this is an excellent move to find. Mo says the Wizz Air is Hungarian. Well, that's kind of surprising. I didn't know that. That's hard to believe that any air is Hungarian. Are you sure? The only real Hungarian airline was like Malev, and they went out of business. But it's possible. I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm not like Bob. It's funny though, because almost everything else that's Hungarian, they go out of their way to let you know that it's Hungarian. They're very nationalist, and they put a lot of Hungarian flags on the potatoes and every kind of thing that you can buy. You would think if it was like a Hungarian airline, they would stamp Hungarian flags on it, but it has like, you know, the Wizz Air is like kind of white and purple or something. That's weird. So anyway, Queen d1. Maybe I should have played Queen d1. But I mean, I thought Queen e2 was cool because he could play Rook e8. Although, maybe he should play Rook e8. Arsenal fan brings up a very, very interesting point here. Maybe that's the secret move. Black should actually give up 2 rooks for the queen there and call my bluff. Okay, this is a bad decision. You release all tension when you play that. Now Acerbate is just down a pawn for no compensation. But interestingly, after Queen e2, if he gives up the 2 rooks for the queen there, with like Rook e8, I take no responsibility for what's happening after that. I think he's got very nasty threats with the queen and the knight, and he'll get like chop, 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 move the king, bishop takes f3, queen f4, knight h4, I get mated and resign. You know, it's very possible my bishop is bad, I mean, this could be an absolute disaster for White. And an Arsenal fan is probably in the right ballpark. Now, I don't want to lose on time. In the right ballpark. Almost forgot. That is weird. You guys, you taught me something today. I live in Hungary, and I didn't know the Wizz Air was Hungarian. I just assumed it was like German wings or something. That's weird. They totally don't act like they're a Hungarian airline. But actually, if you go to Ferryhead, or whatever they call it now, the airport, now that you mention it, there is like a huge area for Wizz Air now. All right. So, Asterbait, check this out, man. You could have played Rook E8 and just ruined my day. 2 rooks for a queen is always a complicated situation, but it looks like Arsenal is right. See? Now the computer's not sure, but I mean, couldn't he play this? Is this really good for me? Rook E8? What am I gonna do after that? I have to play some sick move like Queen F1. Queen F1. No, I have to go back to D1 now. That's lucky that I even have that. Black has pressure after that. Some kind of compensation. So Arsenal is right. It would have been more accurate to play Queen D1. I mean, the old airline, the Hungarian airline Malev, was fine. It just, like, I don't know, the government decided to bail on it. I always flew Malev. They were like partners with Delta. It was totally fine. All right. It's not like Aeroflot or something. I flew an Aeroflot when they still had smoking. That was kind of weird. Apple Fossil, Juicebox Wizard, Move 11, Nefidov, Mr. Coffee. Everybody's here today. Is it a holiday in Europe too? Arsenal fan. Herbie's here. He runs a tournament. Bot Micro. And then Arthus. I wanted to say Arthus. Tushar Kamde down there. Alright, guys, let's do the subscriber challenges. Juicebox Wizard. Fat President watching. He hasn't played in a while. So, Juicebox Wizard, you're up, man. It's a bank holiday in the UK. It's Memorial Day here, so it's a pretty big holiday in the US. Really bad weather where I'm at. Like, I didn't see anyone even alive today. Okay, Juicebox plays F4. Bank holiday. Knight F3. Alright. Well, what are we going to play here with the black pieces against this? I usually play G6 and do a kind of standard type of setup. But I mean, I'm a tempo behind playing a normal Dutch. So usually I'm a little bit more conservative. Our former moderator, Jeroen KK, he's played a lot of these birds openings against me in simul's. It's usually fairly solid for white. I don't mind if you play Tushar instead of you. More fun and less chance of no game. You need to just turn into a maniac. Guys, what time is it now? 11:20. So I've got an hour and 10 minutes left for the stream. We're going to try to play Move 11, Nefidov, Mr. Coffee, Arsenal fan. Arsenal's not a subscriber, but he's a really long time subscriber, so I'm cool. If we can get to his game. Bird is the word. Nefidov, where did you hear that? Where does that come from originally? My friend Tony Hill used to say, what's the word? Absurd. So Knight F6, I'm just playing that. This is... The bird is the word. He's playing kind of Simon Williams type of Ilyan Janevsky variation. Iljan Janevsky, how do you pronounce that? Dentured alcohol. Denatured. I've never seen that word used. Bob busting out the new words. He's absurd with the new words. This is a very strange... What is this, some sort of Magnus Carlsen thing with the knight on c3? We're really close to Jabava Rapport territory with white now. Just do knight c3 and mix it with the Dutch. Very unorthodox. I mean, I don't think he's going to take this and really be happy about that. Is he? He could, though. If I do like knight c6 and he takes that, then I have to play some weird move like e6 in order to surround the pawn. Actually, Juicebox Wizard, I'm having this crazy flashback to you doing something almost identical to me in a previous game. To me or against me. It's not a bad thing, so I wouldn't call it like to me, but playing something similar in another game has been called. We could just play solidly with b6. Move 11. That's some kind of... So you guys are getting back with the weird stuff now. Songs I never heard of. Alright. b6 is pretty conservative. Knight c3, not a normal idea here. I wanted to play like knight c6, but I was concerned he takes the pawn on c5, and I didn't know how I would get it back. Because if I play like queen a5, my d5 pawn is dropping. The computer will probably come up with some insane move. I mean, I was seriously considering playing knight c6, d takes c5, and e6 with the idea of queen a5. But that's a little bit abstract. I think we need to just play some more straightforwardly here. With the knight on c3, it's not a normal stonewall. He doesn't have the support for the d4 pawn he would have with the pawn on c3. Arsenal fan says he thought bishop f5 was strong there. Well, you know, it's probably not a bad move, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a typical location for the bishop to go to. I'm not sure. We've got this weird knight on c3, and I was trying to figure out, like, how do we best, like, exploit that? But after a while of thinking, I obviously came up with nothing special. What's the best way to exploit the knight on c3? I mean, bishop f5 aiming at the c2 pawn, you know, maybe you have some ideas there. I think it's not a bad move. Then do we go bishop a6? Do we go bishop b7? This is like standard positional idea. I'm slightly reluctant to play this against a lower rated player because I'm trading pieces. Against a higher rated player, I'd be really thrilled. Now he's moving his knight away from the bad square, but he's giving me knight e4 at the same time. But knight e4 doesn't really do anything. It just sits there on pretty square. Maybe I need to think about my development first and foremost. So, lots of good moves here. Getting the knight back into the game is a plan. Knight c7. Here's a weird move for you. Queen c7. And then queen d7. Queen d7 like invites knight e5. And I'm debating a lot here, but there's a lot to debate. Knight e4 is still a good move. What if I do that? Alright, I'm going to do knight e4. I remember a game where like Larson lost really, really bad against, I think, Petrosian in a white side. Larson was like on the white side of a bird's opening. And he basically, like, this happened. He basically, like, let Petrosian trade off his, like, white square. I think it was Petrosian. He let him trade off the white square bishop. Then he just had this awful kind of weaknesses on the white squares. Look at the white squares. There. Even these squares are kind of squishy, hard to defend. Queen d3 making an effort, but I'm thinking knight b4, that's kind of primitive, but actually might be good. Then what do I play after queen b3, though? Queen c8, I drop a pawn. Love dropping pawns. Just love it. Queen c8 again runs into d takes c5. Computer will find some pawn sack I didn't see. Arsenal said he's seen that game. Well, it is a classic. An instant classic. Okay, knight c7. Knight b4. It's all good. This wasn't my plan, though. I'm a little angry that I'm getting sort of sidelined with a strange plan that wasn't really part of the program. My knight is kind of weird now. It's not bad, but I wanted to go to c7, and I wanted to go and get my knight on this path, like b5 and d6. Now it's sort of awkward. We'll have to go back, I guess. I mean, it's going to get kicked out anyway. And I don't see a good way to protect it on b4. Now see, the weaknesses on the white squares are very noticeable here. Classically, what we want to do is play for e5, I guess. It's still not so easy. He's still keeping an eye on this pawn, which is irritating. c4 closes everything down, which I don't really like. Queen d7 walks into knight e5. That may not be that bad for me, though. Maybe we'll just trade it and then try to blast the center with f6 or something. I do have the better bishop at the end of the day. I mean, that should be really important. This bishop versus this bishop. You'd lock it with c4. Well, no, I think that's okay too. You know, it's a different style of play. I don't like playing close positions without a lot of time. I'm better in tactics when it comes to playing fast, whereas like locked positions require a lot of strategy, and it drives me crazy. I don't like playing the Stonewall Dutch and the closed Sicilian when it's blitz. You know, it just like drives me nuts. I'd much prefer like a wide open position. I think that calculation for me comes a lot faster than strategic plans. That would be a really long-term plan. You know, c4, queenside expansion. Yeah, I mean, c4 may be a good move. But I just don't feel like this time situation is conducive to that. Yeah, I feel like kind of the same as Arsenal fan. I actually enjoy playing the Stonewall if I have time. You know, the closed Sicilian, not so much. I think I have a really good score against the Stonewall. I did lose once. I remember a first Saturday IM tournament where I did Arsenal fans bishop f4 against some guy, and I got in trouble. Okay, a4 doesn't do anything really immediate. He grabs a little white square control with that move, though. I don't think that's a bad move. Although I could maybe sink my teeth into b3. Maybe Mo's idea even gets stronger with the addition there of a4. There are many different ways to skin cats. Not the normal way to say that, but I just thought it would be funny. Alright, I have a problem with this knight b3 thing. I don't want to trade pieces with you, you know? Almost seems like I'm out of my mind here, trying to do the impossible. That's what it feels like. I'm just trying to do the impossible. Alright, well, Juicebox Wizard, you've driven me to the brink of insanity. I know that I'm better, but I don't have enough time to really find the right plan. So I'm just moving around mindlessly, trying to avoid exchanges and exploit my space advantage slowly. But I think that Mo is probably right about c4, you know, truthfully. I wanted to play e5 and bust open the stone wall, but I was unable to achieve it. Now, a very good move by Juicebox. He who hesitates is lost. I played way too hesitantly in this game. Couldn't come up with a concrete plan. You know, now anything I do, he's got like knight coming here. If I try to bust with e5, there you should play bishop a3. No question. Absolutely no question. I think. Total cop-out. What am I doing here? All over the place. I can assure you this is going to come out with a lot of high center-pawn loss for both sides. I played really hesitantly. White's best move may still be bishop b2, bishop a3. Absolutely. Bishop b2 wasn't even that bad. It's really hard to break it down. I have no way to open the position. Just really hard to play such a kind of position with no time. We have 3 seconds per move, but it's going to be a disaster when we see the end of the game. How many mistakes both make, according to the computer, it's going to be ridiculously high. I know that I made personally like at least 15 bad moves, where I'm just sort of shuttling my pieces back and forth without a concrete plan. White is probably guilty of pretty much the same thing. I mean, here we go. A6, critical. Just trying to get a little more white square control. There we go. Now finally, someone did something dubious. Let's see, knight c4 first. I still can't win material, but we've got a really, really good grip now. Actually, I'm winning material. Okay, so this is blunder. Feels bad, man. I mean, he really like had me just looking like a fool. I mean, I had no idea what to do, like for the last 15 moves. Just vacillating back and forth between totally stupid ideas. Truthfully, it looks like if he doesn't play this blunder with b4, I mean, I'm not much better. Yeah, I mean, so Stockfish is giving me a larger advantage than I really thought I had here with 0.8. If we look at the chess engine, okay, rook a3 was a terrible move. He should be playing bishop a3 and getting that bishop out in the first place. I just want to see the center pawn loss. It must be like ridiculous. Maybe it'll be kinder to me. The computer doesn't mind my style of moving the pieces around, doing nothing. That's like the way Magnus plays. But Magnus does nothing better than I do. There's just absolutely no question. He's been honing that skill all of his life. I'd rather to do something badly. Anyway, I got a 15 center pawn loss. I'm still not happy with this game. I feel like I must have had better ways to play at many different points. Okay, let's move on to move 11. Move 11. Nefedov offered to let Tushar play first. I mean, Tushar is in a late time zone, so I would go with that if Tushar is still awake, if he's still here. All right, move 11. Good luck, my friend. So e4. Yeah, I mean, 7+3 time control for the Dutch. That's going to be a long game. Please no Dutch stone walls. What can we do with move 11? I mean, I think he doesn't like the Marazzi. We could play like c4 now. This is another good way to like play the Marazzi. Highly unusual. This looks like something the Spanish Grandmaster Bayon Lopez would play. Manuel. He plays all kinds of weird stuff. Another idea, like d4, c takes d4, queen takes d4. Bayon played like f6. I mean, that's a horrible move to play. That's horrible. Like, I don't know how you could do that. Bishop h6 seems weird. But it might have some kind of justification. I'd rather take with the rook than take with the queen on c1. If that's what it comes down to. There is another idea. I guess you could try to exploit it with like h4, h5. Ferenc Barabora did that against me in a knight h6 setup, where I let him play like h4, h5, and I like luckily won the game later on. But that's one of the things. If you stick a piece on h6, then white can do like h4, h5. But I mean, here maybe you can play knight f6 to stop that. I don't know. Bishop h6 is a strange move. I don't give this my stamp of approval. I think that it's interesting, but I'm not condoning it as correct. I think I'm lagging or he's lagging. I've got a ping of 102. It looks pretty good. Okay, his clock is not running though. What's up here? I don't know, guys. What's going on? Wow, I'm down to 5 minutes. What is going on? Did you guys see that? Am I on the same site here? That was weird. I was like stuck in the Twilight Zone. Are you serious? Trading the dark squared bishops is actually a normal strategy in the Marazzi, you know, so there's kind of a justification to this. Tricked me. It happens to you sometimes. I mean, so basically, like, trading the dark squared bishops is an idea later in the Marazzi, and move 11 is just doing it right now. Dirty. You should have told me. But don't give me more time, because the stream is really, really got a lot of challengers now. Yeah, this looks like an interesting idea. Legitimate. Man, I think I already missed the boat. I know what I was looking at now, and I wanted to mention. Alexander Belyavsky has a game collection in a book. I guess he published it like 15 years ago, called Uncompromising Chess. And looking at this position, I was reminded of a game that Belyavsky has in his book, where he beats a guy in a Marazzi. I don't remember who it was, some strong player. You know, in a fairly kind of primitive way that I would have classified as kind of, you know, not that subtle. Something like this type of piece distribution. So he's going to put pressure on my c-pawn. What would Belyavsky do? But I have to give move 11 credit. I mean, for the strange position. I give him credit for the strange position. I'm not impressed with my play, basically. Even bishop f1 is sort of stupid. He's definitely caught me off guard. 95 gang up on e7. Okay, I mean, do you know how many times I've been in this kind of situation with black? That sort of thing is okay, but it's really not that dangerous. Black should hold. I try not to I'm just trying not to simplify with another exchange. Yeah, I mean, you can do that and just play that very, very technical position with a tiny edge. 9 out of 10 games will be a draw. This is a draw anyway. I mean, if I had to bet on this position, played in 100 Grandmaster games, I'd probably say like a large chunk of them would end in draws. But I don't really have a good plan again. Even bishop f1 was probably a bad move. Knight d5, a bad plan is better than no plan at all. Isn't that what they say? My position just doesn't really have much going for it. Maybe e5? Trade queens and go into this ending? I mean, that's got to be harmless for him. This feels wrong. But I'm running out of time. I just thought maybe I have some very, very vague hope that my queenside majority will be relevant. How about an exchange sacrifice on e6? I wasn't planning on playing rook takes, though. Though maybe rook takes is a good move. His queen would be awkward. I guess it's more aggressive. That was not the original plan. Counterattacking rook d8. Triple exclam. Shouldn't give him any ideas, really. Rook d8 could easily be his best move here. I'm just praying that my queenside majority becomes a passed pawn and I win the ending. Like, yeah, he found rook d8. We don't know if he found it on his own or he's just listening to the stream, taking my suggestions. Queen f4. That endgame looked like rook's getting down on the 7th rank. Not good. We didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that happen. Although here I have different problems, I guess. Definitely. We may have other problems. I'm a little bit concerned about pins. Pins. Boring game, really. I mean, one of my ideas is that he can't go queen b4 because of rook b5. That's good. That's fine. Queen b6, also rook b5 could be irritating for black, but queen c7 just looks good for black. I mean, what do I have here? Some one-move threat with knight b5? Maybe one-move threats are good. One-move threat, and then the old one-move threat may not be such a bad thing. There's also knight to d5 now, which is kind of weird. Knight d5, bishop takes, d5, pawn takes. And then he moves his queen. He might even have like knight takes d5 there. Again, another tactic. Move 11 is really dangerous. Like, he sees opportunistic tactics on a regular basis. I was thinking double rooks. That was my plan. Maybe we should stick with our guns here. I guess he could force me to trade queens with something like knight d7, but that's kind of slightly passive for black. I don't really believe in white's position. I don't like to trade dark squared bishops in the Marazzi period, you know. So you would find me playing black here more likely than with white. Every day is a new day. I love how happy I am, mostly depressed. I'm happier today, maybe. Are you talking about me or someone else? Alright, knight g4. Uh-oh. A different way to trade queens. Uh-oh. I have knight to d5 now. I think I like that move. Thing is, he has rook takes d5, pawn takes d5, knight takes d5. All right. The moment of truth. Please, no tricks. Chess with Chris is hosting us for 3 viewers. You should suggest dubious moves for black. I sometimes try to throw people off if I think they're listening to my suggestions in real time. I will fake people out occasionally. I rarely get to actually pull it off, though. I'm kind of half joking, though. I mean, move 11's improved. He's a pretty strong player, and I didn't think he generally has time to like take my like real-time suggestions seriously. It erupted into a tactical match. It's more like a kind of drizzle. I would call it like a tactical drizzle rather than a maelstrom. There are like 2 tactics. There have been like 2 tactics in this game. But mine is really just kind of calming it down, like forcing him trading pieces. Excellent grammar. I agree with Dracofire. I think that listening to the stream while you're trying to think, it does confuse the issue. Okay, I did not expect this. Maybe he's got a surprise for me. I thought he's just losing a pawn here. Somebody explain to me while he's not losing a pawn. I feel I've always warned people about my mind tricks. That's your paranoid nature. Would never let you down. That's why, you like my stream, because I'm paranoid too. We identify with each other, Nefyadov. C takes d5. Guys, thanks for supporting the stream with donations. Move 1197, Rufus and Doofus, 3 bits, and JCS 2 bits. Just get on the board. Man, I can't believe the Celtics lost yesterday to Cleveland. Oh my God. The Boston Celtics lose in the NBA. Shoo. LeBron James just like is the team. So move 11 just panicked and freaked out. You won't see LeBron James do that. Bishop f5. There is queen a5. But that still leaves you a piece down. Nope. Stop making my wife laugh. You better not bring her to the stream too often, man. You're going to be in trouble. Alright. Rook takes f5. There was a time I stole my roommate's girlfriend. You have to be very, very careful with me. Abafazel. Alright, I'm going to take the Tushar, but he's gone. So poor Tushar. I was going to take his challenge next. Alright, Nefyadov. 7 + 3. Resigned. We're kind of lucky there. Actually, move 11's weird opening worked out really well. So, e4. We've got to try to play something to take him out of his like known, familiar territory. I think that's what works best against Nefyadov. We haven't played an Alyakhin's defense in a while. Move 11 is one of the strongest players on the stream, honestly, said Arsenal fan. I think he's very thoughtful. He works hard in his game. He's not a big blitz player. He prefers to play the longer time controls. I would agree, though. I mean, he's definitely got a lot of game. That wasn't one of his better games at the end, but I think he had equalized. So, our favorite square for the night. Knights are always bad on b6. Abufazel. Win his chance to play. I've got to play Mr. Coffee, Arsenal fan, and Chestosterone. So I don't know. If somebody wants to give you their spot, or let you play ahead of them, otherwise I feel like I'm obligated to play with our subscribers first. Okay, d6, f4. I don't remember Nefedov playing the 4 pawns attack before. Some of the regulars can play very good. Well, I mean, yeah. Like, Camel Clutcher is not a subscriber, but he's here pretty often. He's pretty good. Probably like one of the highest rated players, like, over the board. I think he's, I don't know exactly what his rating is, but one of the higher rated players that watches the stream. It's to Tom Bartel. We've had a couple of masters who come in. f4. Play the dubious variation. Agzamov. Somewhere around here I have Agzamov's book on the Alyokhin's defense. Old school. There was a U.S. championship some years ago where Shabalov actually busted this out against Yuri Lapshin. It was like 15 years ago. It seems like yesterday. Santa Claus got banned. I was a little surprised. I never really suspected Santa Claus of being an engine. So I don't know what circumstances he got banned by lichess. I mean, I'm sure they had a legitimate reason, but I don't think he cheated in our stream, really. I didn't get that feeling. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah. This is a crazy variation. I played it in a couple tournament games. There's the Shabalov Lapshin game, which follows pretty much theory. This is not a new thing, Arsenal. That was a while ago. So I guess he closed his account. I don't know if he still plays on lichess with a new account or not. Not condoning that. I'm just stating reality. A lot of people make new accounts once they get banned or something. I can't imagine who I could be referencing. So there's the Queen H4 thing. Yeah, I mean, you got to watch out for that. So Nefedov's Knight F3. This is like mainline. The lichess bans the IPs. Well, they must have a lot of IPs, these people that I'm talking about. They must have a lot of IPs. We had one of them today. He's back. Actually, I didn't see him on lichess. He was on Twitch. I mean, it's possible to have like endless amounts of IPs if you're a hacker, I guess. Right? Well, VPNs, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I played a lot of internet poker. I mean, people were using VPNs to play like illegally in the United States and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities. So, D6. That's actually supposed to be one of the better moves, and I can't remember what I'm supposed to do now. I think this gets really crazy. But A3 looks very hesitant for white. Like an ultra aggressive move followed by like a pretty mild, quiet move. This seems weird to play. Psycho D6 and then the modest A3 to follow it up with. Inconsistent, but He's white, so... I mean, bishop a5 is interesting. I don't think I have time for that. You know, I think the thing is we got to get the pieces out super fast here, so... Bishop g4 follows. It's like a Nimzo. Bishop g5 f6 was absolute insanity, Mo, and I think that's a real line. Like, that might be the line. Instead of a3, he's supposed to play bishop g5, and I have to play f6. Maybe queen d7's a move. I can't remember. I mean, f6 is just absolute chaos, and like, queen d7 maybe the move. I can't remember. I'm not saying this variation is even okay for black, you know. To check with... Who would play this nowadays? Shabalov knows probably better than everyone I can think of. You know, he was trained by like people like Tal and Aximov, so he probably knows better than anyone. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head the top of my head who plays this variation for black other than Shaba, and I mean that's on a very rare occasion. Shaba only occasionally plays the Alyokin's defense among many different stuffs that he plays. And I think that most players who play the black side of the Alyokins don't play this line because they're sane. Wait. Arsenal fan, I think Akobian like came a little too late to the chess world to invent anything as far as openings. It's too late, like when you're born in the 80s, it's too late to invent anything. I was almost too late to be born to invent anything. I invented like one e4, knight h6, d4, d5. As far as legitimate openings, I think it's too late. Alright, so I have knight takes e5 now. Time for a little bit of calculation. Knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, f6. What's the status of that? I also have some weird ideas with knight d5. We really don't have too many choices, though. Just pray we don't overlook something. We definitely want to eliminate that pawn. I mean, that's pretty massive in terms of importance to the white side of the four pawns attack. He still has a dangerous pawn on d6 remaining. I better get my piece back. No, c4 is obviously important too. I don't want to drop that with check. So we get our piece back, and that's about all I know. At the end of the day, it's a game. So Akobian, why do you say Akobian? I mean, he's a French guy. Although there was a U.S. championship where he lost with 3 different openings with black. It was like 2 years ago. He lost with the He lost with the he lost with the French Rubinstein. He lost with e4, e5, and then he lost with what was the other thing he lost with? I can't remember. It was like Wesley So, Nakamura, and someone else really good. Those are the big three. Akobian just got hammered by like all these monsters with black. The poor guy, like Caruana, of course. Okay, now, well, we're kind of back to technical mode now. G6. I like G6. '97. Queen takes e5. What? That's an interesting suggestion. Oh my god, he had that? Master had queen takes e5 and 97 check. That is perverse. But don't give away crazy variations, like in real time. He actually had it. That's insane. Man, he had it. He literally had this. Damn. Queen takes e5. It just totally works. I know one player who was recently banned from the stream who wouldn't have missed that. But so I have to play the ultra subtle like King h8 first. And white's still better after 97. Nefedov had it, but he missed it. If he just waited a little longer, he could have seen the move on the stream. All right, guys, let's just thank our lucky stars that... Well, let's see the opening before we go on. Just I want to see how much of this was actually played before. I know d6. Where's the opening stream? What's going on? Why is there no games with d6? That's crazy. There's no games with d6. Hello? If you check ChessBase, okay, Mr. Lichess Opening Explorer, the real players like d6. It's impossible that there's no games with d6 here. It's absolutely impossible. That's like... Someone mentioned bishop g5. You know, that idea is quite interesting. Tushar is back. So, man. I can't believe d6 has never been played. I mean, it's such an interesting move. And in fact, maybe we had this once before. I don't know if it was against Nefedov, but you can't play a3. a3 is not on. Bishop g5 is the macho move. And then maybe queen d7. But it's not clear how I'm going to undermine this pawn on d6 at the end of the day. Real player, Nefedov. He played like a macho man today. And he actually contributed. I still don't think it's a novelty, Pavel. I just don't think it's a novelty. If we look in ChessBase, we'll find some games. But maybe one of the players was 2175. It's not in the Lichess Opening Explorer. I'll bet you almost anything that this has been played before. Okay, let's move on. Guys, I've got like half an hour left, so I want to play as many subscribers as possible. We're going to play Mr. Coffee, Arsenal fan. Well, actually, Arsenal fan's not a subscriber. We'll try to get that game in. You used 12500 who won't make single mistakes 5 games straight. Alright, anyway, Nefedov. It was a good game, man. You just missed that crazy tactic. Merle Dixon. I'm sorry I can't play. Everybody's here today. I don't know what's with the Monday stream, but I'm trying to play as many of you guys as I can. We've got challenges from... Let's see. Chestosterone. He's a subscriber. Then I'll try to play another game or two. Even if I have to go a little bit over time. Merle Dixon, thank you for the 100 bits. You're the second person. I guess 100 is an automatic shamrock. Move 11 didn't like the motion of the shamrock. It made him seasick. I can understand. So Nefedov actually played bishop g5 against me. Okay, I forgot if it was against you or not. But that's not the only line you play against the Alyukins, is it? Didn't you play the exchange variation against me previously? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Don't look at that green shamrock. Move 11 is absolutely right. I thought you prepared the improvement, so I played a3. But a3 just feels wrong. That's like a massive change up. If you followed baseball, you're like throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball with a d6, and then you're throwing a3 like 60 miles an hour. I mean, no, but it doesn't work like that in chess. It just, you played an ultra dynamic move followed by a kind of like quiet move. I think that's wrong. You lost your advantage with a3. But d6 is really complicated. I like it. It's got to be good for white. You never play the exchange variation. So have you ever have you played something else against me, Nefedov, though? You haven't only played the f4. I don't recall like multiple games. I mean, I guess I didn't play the Alyukins that much, but for some reason I thought you played another line. So what's that? This morning's lesson? What lesson? Knight bd7. We've got this a lot in the simul the other day. Black playing c6 unprovoked. I mean, normally you play that in the Capablanca type of lines with rook c1, but I haven't played rook c1. So I still think that this is very slightly inaccurate for black. I'm going to try to play a couple more games. I know Abel Fazl, Arsenal fan, and Chestosterone. We'll try to get those 3 games in. I can't play everybody. This 7-6 is out for sure. Quasim, I don't think I have time for that game. Plus, it's a new account without any games. So I'm going to just play people who have like 50 or 100 games under their belts. This would be the maximum, these last 3, if I can get them in. Sorry, Tushar. I know it's late for you. I was actually going to take your challenge before, but now we're really running out of time. Bob Sakamano, what is your greatest success story as a chess teacher? Well, I mean, I've had some going back a long time ago, some Scholastic players who were successful. But I don't think I ever like taught someone who reached, from beginner to master. I had one kid years ago. You have to take into consideration that I did take a long time off from teaching. I mean, basically, like I taught chess a lot between, let's say, 1995 and 2005. So like, or 1993 and 2003. Then I took a long time off just playing full time, and doing chess in other ways, and also playing poker. So in my original chess endeavor, my original teaching era, let's say, I had some successful students I had one successful student who was like 2100, and I took him from beginner to like 2100, and I think that was probably one of my best. Unfortunately, I don't think he's really playing. As far as I know, I don't think he really continued. He probably went to college and just kind of plays chess occasionally. But as far as like recently, I don't like to brag about my results. Most of my students are adults, not so many scholastic guys. If I was living in the United States, I would probably do a lot more scholastic coaching. But in Hungary, it's just not really feasible for me to do. Like, I can't really work that way there with teaching in the schools and stuff. So all my students are like private. But I've only been back to teaching chess full time since 2015, so I had a long time off. I don't know here what I'm doing against Mr. Coffee. I feel like breaking with e4. Just decided on this. I think this is kind of weird, though. I think I would normally play c takes d4 and like break with c4, but I thought this would be something a little bit different. White is a little bit better here. It reminds me of the floor makinist variation of the English. 2100 is almost a master. Yeah. WFM. I guess. What is that? Is that like a 2100? Is that a rating based title? E4 looks like the engine choice. It just felt intuitively like a good move. You can object to my pawn structure if you like. But there are similar variations I play in the English opening. White has to be slightly better here. We're more active. Could he have played anything else other than that after e4 is a good question. He could take on c4. I mean, I think a lot of people might prefer this approach. And I might agree with him. That maybe Mr. Coffee should play like d takes c4, bishop takes c4, and then e5. It's still not instant equality, but that looks more like a standard kind of Capablanca plan. This again looks more like an English opening or something like that. So I've really gone through two periods where I've done teaching extensively, like the old period before 2004, and then the modern period between 2015 and 2018. Okay, knight f6 now. I mean, I had the students occasionally, but I really basically concentrated on poker between, let's say, 2008 and 2015. So, and other stuff, like I was doing commentating on chess FM, on Internet Chess Club. I've always made videos on chesslecture.com. All right, we're going to go bishop c2. So I haven't been like a full-time chess coach over the last 30 years. Like, I mean, some people have. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We try to avoid having like a legitimate job, basically. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I respect what I do. It looks like a Grunfeld. Well, Grunfeld for white, kind of. You should say semi-Tarrasch. I always thought it was funny how the semi-Tarrasch and the Grunfeld are closely related. Rook e1. Mr. Coffee with a natural plan, rook d8. He's looking for c5, and I'm going to play a hanging pawn type of structure. But the time control is pretty fast. My biggest poker success story. I once won the Stars 109 rebuy with no rebuys and no chat. I just turned the chat off, and I think they probably wanted to make a deal, like when we were down to the final table. But I didn't even turn on chat. I was just drinking beers and I won 31K in one night. That was probably my best score. But the funny thing was it was a rebuy tournament that I didn't play in very often, and I never took a single rebuy. I don't think I even took the add-on. I just bought in without an add-on and didn't even take a rebuy. So I took down 31K in one night, on a $100 rebuy, a $100 buy-in. That's hard to match. I mean, I wasn't a high stakes player. I've never been a high stakes player, but that was a good night. B6 here. That's a long time ago, though, 10 years ago. You got fourth in the 109. Nice. That's I like playing rebuy tournaments, but I'm broke now. Not because of poker, though. Just spent all my money. It's hard, though. I mean, I can't live like that, waiting a year to have a good score in poker tournaments or whatever. B6. Mr. Coffee is awful solid here. I don't know. It looks pretty good. He's got c5, bishop b7. Well, if you can play poker without worrying about the money, you're going to play better. I mean, the more money I had, the better I played. That was consistent. It's consistently true. about my game, I think. You know, it's essential to have money if you're going to be successful in any sort of gambling based. If you're poor, it just makes you play too tight. And um, A4. Mr. Coffee's. I feel like I'm playing Kramnik or something. All right, let's go with the second front over here with A4, A5. I'm kind of holding off on this, but one of the things that I had in the back of my mind since I played Rook E1 was like to toy with him with the threat of maybe playing D5. If he tries to play C5, I can play D5. And he's got to kind of worry about that. You know, if his queen was on C7, he could just play C5 with impunity. He'd be all set. Can't be attached to your money. No, I mean, especially, you know, you walk across the street and get hit by a bus and your money doesn't mean anything anymore. At least not to you. So there is more important things to life than money. Though it does make things a little easier. Alright, we're breaking through on the queen side. You'd watch me stream poker once in a while, if that was a thing. I thought about it, like doing it like a couple years ago, but, you know, I just basically quit for many reasons. My mental state, lack of funds, poker getting harder. Just seemed like a kind of no-brainer. Plus, there's the last aspect of it that, well, I mean, if I don't like try to do chess before it's too late, before I get to be like 80, I'll never have a last chance to get better. I thought that maybe I could become a GM, but it's looking kind of tough. I'd really have to have like a windfall of currency. If anyone wants to donate, like, I don't know, $100,000, either I'll go play a lot of tournaments or start playing poker again. I don't know. Maybe I could become a GM with a windfall. But it's easy to blame it on the money. That's a cop-out, you know. I just need to work harder. A takes B5. Mr. Coffee. So solid, man. You're driving me crazy. What am I going to do about C5? He's just going to play C5, and then it's a totally different scenario where he's got the better structure, essentially. And I don't have D5. You want to have isolated pawns. I don't know what to do. He's got the long diagonal with the bishop. If we had all the time in the world, I guess, you know, we could play F4, F5 or something. Even that's not that scary, though. Now he's got pressure on D4. This is about the point where I would probably offer a draw to a lower rated opponent in a tournament game, where I'm like, all right, this is where you start to see the writing on the wall, and you're like, I don't think I have an advantage anymore. At least it's not going to be easy. And now I have to bail out with like Rook D1 just to keep this protected. Excellent play by Mr. Coffee. You know, Rook A7 looks really sort of speculative and unimpressive. No, maybe I'll win on time, but I did not demonstrate an advantage here. Now, he's walked into bishop takes H7. And that's mate. You know, this is probably just mate. We've got double rook lifts from both directions. F7 followed by Rook A3 and Rook H3 mate. You know, this is only because of time, though. Objectively, I think that he's fine here. He's just got to bear down. Maybe just H6, like the computer's saying. No more bishop takes H7 after that, and everything's fine. Anyway, Mr. Coffee, tough game. Lucky break for me. Arsenal fan, I'm going to play Arsenal fan and Chestosterone. I'll take Chestosterone, then Arsenal fan, because Chestosterone is still subscribing. I will play Arsenal fan next, and then Abel Fazl. I'll play these games. We'll try to get them in. It's kind of late, but I'll try to play all three. All right. What about playing C5? John Shaw. What about John Shaw? I played him, I lost. I lost to John Shaw in a weird Slav or something. Okay, guys. 2 games here. Abel Fazl and an Arsenal fan. Oh, he became a GM. Well, I played John Shaw when he was still an IM. I don't know if you're talking about him. I lost to him in the Hastings Congress. I did something weird, like I played d4, d5, knight f3 for some reason. A move order I almost never play. Then he played like c6. And something happened, like I did I did c4 and he did bishop f5. That's what it was. It was like d4, d5, knight f3, c6, c4, bishop f5. And I was like out of book. I had never literally played this order of moves, and I put myself in this situation where he gets to play bishop f5 outside the pawn chain. It was just like brainless thing to do. Testosterone now playing kind of reverse Rosalimo. I like that. It's a little like the Yellow Dragoon played. It's basically the same thing. Not a little bit like it, but identical. I had a game, I was talking about, I had a game against Alex Kallichstein in the New York Open, going back to like 1992, I think it was. I played almost identically here to Testosterone. Kallichstein just didn't move his central pawns, and the game was like published in Inside Chess. He crushed me without pushing forward his D or E pawns even one square. That was pretty cool. But objectively, I don't think the position was quite exactly the same. You know, somehow, almost the same though. I basically tried to do what Testosterone's doing here. But somehow he punished me. He was able to play like bishop a3 and c5 and make it work. But I don't see how that really works. You know, I mean, anytime I try to do c5, he's going to stuff it forward with d5. Maybe Kallichstein played like 91. I mean, that's really, really looking slow. 91 looks so slow here for white. That's something you could do in a different form of English, like the Botvinnik variation or whatever. Is possible 3-3 with you? Tushar. I'm going kind of over schedule. I've got to cook dinner here. We'll see what we can do. Like a 3-0 game for fun or something. We'll try, okay? Yeah. We'll try to do like a 3-0 just for fun. I haven't played any 3-0 in a while. So I basically like Testosterone, and I like, I mean, his setup. I don't like him, like that kind of like him, but I like to play I recommend the Grand Prix Attack Reversed, actually. Years ago, you guys can check out chesslecture.com, by the way, built-in commercial, for $15 for 3 months, if you sign up at chesslecture.com for a new membership. But what I was going to say was, I actually recommended this setup, the Reverse Grand Prix Attack. He didn't play a normal move order. But I think it's legit. Should I play f4? Or just let him play f4 himself? Okay. We got to do something. Arsenal fan, no need to drop out, man. No need to drop out. We can manage an extra 3-0 game. You guys are cool. I mean, it's 5+3. It doesn't take too long. The 7+3s are the ones that really eat up a lot of time. I like the way Testosterone played this, though. Even e4, probably not a bad plan. I've been getting really bad score. I've been really having a bad score with the closed Englishes lately with white. So guys, tomorrow night we're going to play a subscriber tournament. Not a subscriber tournament, a viewer tournament. For everybody who's watching the stream. 5+2 casual viewer tournament tomorrow. It'll be 4 p.m. same time, 4 p.m. EDT. Do you read messages on lichess? I thought you were talking to me. I don't like to read my messages. It's kind of personal. Try not to do that on the stream. You get those personal messages we want to share with the viewers. The hate mail. You've got hate mail.
No!
Try not to read my hate mail. Live on stream. What do you say up there? Master Fugu had an opinion on the matter. Bishop e3. Absolutely standard stuff from Testosterone here. Awkward is the word for my position here. I'm getting kind of tired, so if I make some stupidly retarded, just awful moves, please forgive me. You're asking Richard, I know. I realized a little too late. I am getting kind of exhausted. I do the 2.5 hour streams, and then I get kind of spaced. I take responsibility for what happens after we're almost at the 2.5 hour mark. It's martini time for me. My friend Paul McIntyre used to say. We'd have training sessions, basically 3-hour training sessions. If it went over 3 hours, Paul would say, okay, he could see the glaze in my eyes, and then it would be like martini time for me. So, no responsibility for what happens after 4 minutes from now. I have a definite limit. But really well played game by Testosterone. Opening setup quite good. But I think that I'm still okay here. Your club finished with 5 trophies. Wow. We maintain control of d5. White still has better control of the center. So, not a fail. Korchnoi would be proud. Closed English. Can't do the Korchnoi rook lift. The rook transfer Korchnoi style in the second rank. Rook a2 across. Golden opportunity here. Our last chance to play d5 before c6 hits. There's also rook b1. Probably a useful move. Just throw it in there. See if it sticks. Debatable. I did have knight d5, but I wasn't sure where it was going. Like, I could play knight e7 check. That looks kind of artificial. Now what? Alright. So b1 rook ties him down a bit momentarily. It's really like nothing happening on the F file. So let's use our F rook on the E file. That is an open file. Normally I'm like bringing the other rook across, but there's no need for that per se. I was thinking of getting my rook on the 7th rank. Is that a bad thing? Not easy to do. It's easy to say, but not easy to do. I'm at the martini time. 12:28. We've got a couple more games left. I got another challenge. Man, I have 3 challenges left. All right. You say a lot of rude things a lot of times. You do. Have you ever met Bruce Pandolfini? No, he's not a real person. Bruce Pandolfini is part of the. He's basically part of the deep state, and I think that it. Well, we should queue up the Ancient Aliens. It's possible that. It is possible that. Kirsan Ilyushinov has met Bruce Pandolfini. And it's possible that Georgios has met Bruce Pandolfini, but I don't know any real chess players who have actually met Bruce Pandolfini. I think he's just made up by the deep state. All right, guys, you got to say goodnight. Antonio, take care. Bruce Pandolfini was just made up to sell movies on Netflix. Hasta luego. Yeah. have to ask yourself, does Bruce Pandolfini really exist? Irritating move there, knight 96. How am I supposed to get rid of that? Testosterone is just too tough. This reminds me of a game I lost to Anthony Sadie. We had the structure in a blitz game once. He's a player who actually exists, by the way. Man, cagey play by the black player here. He is like merciless with the good moves. Man, masterful. Just will not give me anything at all here. I'm getting kind of nervous. I could seriously be worse. I guess I'm not worse, but I have to be careful I don't do anything stupid because I do theoretically have the worst structure. Just play chess for fun without rankings. Does Bill Wall really exist? Now wait a minute. I think I actually talked to Bill Wall. I think that he might really exist. I talked to someone who said they were a Bill Wall once. I think he was on the show on Chess FM, on the Internet Chess Club. Or they said it was Bill Wall. Was it the real Bill Wall? I feel like I'm just fighting to hang on here. King centralization. Is that a king or what? King is a fighting piece. The king is part of the game. We've got to make him count. What a king. An extra piece. I'm up a piece. Actually up a piece here. A new way of being up a piece. Effective stack sizes. Effective king position. Effectively up a piece. Temporarily. Wow, he went mental with g5. That is crazy, dude. g5. Wow. Oh no. I had a very, very bad miscalculation. I thought that g3 was protected. This is a serious, serious problem. I was so proud of my king move. And he played g5. Now, I told you guys not to let me play after 3 o'clock or whatever time it is. I told you guys not to trust me. Now I'm lost. I knew it was a bad idea to play extra games. I'm just fried. Exactly 3 minutes over the time. Testosterone played like a monster here. There's just nothing to do. I'm just busto. He played this game like a serious master. I've never lost to Testosterone. Wow. Well, we're just busted in every possible way here because I hallucinated that I could take on g5. I was so proud of my king move too. Basically, after g5, I just have to make a sensible move. Like, anything is better than what I did. Maybe something solid like knight f3 would be recommended. This was just spacing out. I'm going to lose here. But we got to fight on. We got to fight on and pray that there's a way to survive. It's pretty bad, though. I mean, I just basically wrecked my position in one move with no way to survive. Still probably draw in position. No, I mean, I was so proud of my king, but it's so easy for white to play this. It's just ridiculous. There's really nothing to do. I'm going to lose a second pawn, at the very least. Instantly. Basically, instantly. What am I supposed to do? Bishop f1? Maybe on time I could save the game. King d1. It's dropping d3. I can't imagine that's a good move. You can't drop d3. I'd rather drop h3 than drop d3. He's going with this. He trades queens here. He's just up a clear pawn in the ending. That's not bad. Maybe I can win on time. That's about my only hope. Yeah, I think that's a practical mistake. He may still win, but I don't think he should trade the queens there because he's got me really... He's got me in a very bad place in that position. I mean, this may well be pretty good for him too. I wouldn't argue if you said this was a good position for black. You know, night endings, there's no chance for survival. You know, here there's still a small chance for survival. Bishop of same color with the f5 pawn blockaded. I mean, there might be a very small chance for survival here. You know, I don't want to play this against a GM. But, not that easy for black to win. Now he's fixing a lot of pawns on the white squares, which is probably pretty good for me. It's very likely this is a draw now, because he's fixed all of his pawns on the wrong color. White could even be better. Now he's lost his pawn. Probably losing now. It's instructive, though, you know, how important it is to have your bishop on the right color. So that was kind of a cheap win, to say the least. All right, guys, last couple games. I'm just playing this because out of the kindness of my heart. I'm fried. I'm fried. Good game, Turkey Farm. That was an excellent game. You played like a master until you ran out of time at the end. I really went nuts with King taking on G5. Abufazel Nazemi is not here. Seriously, after all this, he's not going to play. We're going to give him like 30 seconds to make a move. But I am way over time. Okay. I'm going to basically play fast these last couple games. Really well played strategic game by Turkey Farm. Equalized and then put me under pressure. I played the crazy. Takes on G5. Absolute blunderville. Yeah, but I mean, that position is pretty hard to crumble. It was really surprising, though. You know, his instinct to put the pawns on the wrong color at the end caused him to lose. He should know better than that. Do not put the pawns on the white squares. You certainly can never lose. It wasn't an easy ending to win in the bishop endgame, even if you played perfectly. Because your pawn's fixed on f5, it's a problem. Knight endgames are much easier. You know, when you've got an extra pawn, it's very hard to go wrong. But bishop endgames are oftentimes drawn. Anyway, guys, tomorrow tournament, it'll be 5+2. I'm going to play these games fast because I'm exhausted. This is your chance to beat me. Because I'm gonna blitz these games. Half the time. I'm basically berserking. Playing like I have 2.5 minutes. Okay, this may be theory. I had a very similar game recently. Now, this is kind of a bad line for black, I think. It's not even really a line. Someone did this against me recently, that like the exact same position, I think. White has some sort of... Or sorry, black has some sort of vague compensation. I don't know why anybody wanted to sack a pawn like this, because there have to be better ways to do it. But there still is a kind of lingering compensation for black here. He's down a central pawn. But I can only beat you when you're being flagged and simul's. I had a game like that on Sunday where I didn't recapture a piece. I was worse anyway, but one of those, like, I put my bishop somewhere to trade it and then, like, forgot I did that. It's pretty weird. Just didn't recapture. The knight on C... What? The knight on C is kind of garbage. Well, I mean, these knights look like normal knights to me. I mean, they're just knights. They're on C3. I just don't want them on B3 or B6. Those are bad knights. These are good knights. They're controlling vital central squares. I'll take it. I'll take those knights. Knights that control central squares are good. Uptime, long uptime. I'm basically fried. I'm supposed to be gone 10 minutes ago, and I don't even have my martini. Blitz tournament tomorrow, guys. 4 p.m. Eastern time. 5+2. We'll start it up. You know, probably around 4:15. Limited mobility. Well, it's not going anywhere. That's true. It's a little bit tied down to the B2 pawn. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird line. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's not normal to just sacrifice a pawn, but you could play, for example, the Hennig Shara Gambit. If you want to sack a pawn in the Tarash, you know, that's... Of course, he didn't play the Tarash. We reached the Tarash type of position, but by a very weird order of moves. What's up, Sebik? Thanks everyone for watching and subscribing. Also, please donate to support the stream. We had some bits donations. We could really appreciate if anyone can make a donation via PayPal. Support the stream. Once a year, even $5 or $10 helps a lot, guys. Yeah, I'm basically kind of paralyzed. I haven't played this guy in a long time. He's got a new account all the time. This is another one. He seems to keep creating new accounts. That's not usually a good sign, but who knows why. I don't like to play people who constantly create new accounts in general for various reasons, but Abul Fazl, this is like his third one, I think, he's played me with. If you make some dummy accounts and donate to yourself, it'll motivate others. What does that remind me of? Something I read recently. Smurf accounts. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of streamers do that, but I'm an honest guy. If you're better at an ending... What's that? The tip jar. Exactly. Back to my homeless days. Wait, we're talking about Bill Wall. So we got an ending now. Am I playing knight d5 here? Knight d2. Okay, let's tie him down. Now he has the feeling that his knight doesn't feel so happy either. Now you know how it feels, man. Your knight paralyzed to the pawn. Let's trade some b-hops. Bill Wall. I was joking about Brian Wall. Brian was homeless. There's a Bill, there's Bill Wall. But as far as I know, I don't really know Bill Wall, except for being on Chess FM with him once. Brian was Brian was homeless. He's crazy. All right. We're just getting toward the center here. Move 11. Brian seemed to enjoy being homeless for a time. That was the best time of my life. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of being homeless, but you had to be there to appreciate it. So now, homeless for a week when you're 18. Somehow that doesn't sound that bad. There was a time I ran away from home when I was like 5 years old. I went around the block because I was mad that my parents didn't do something, or I did something, I don't remember. That was funny. Did anybody else ever do that when you were like a little kid? You tell your parents, I'm running away. All right. It's pretty typical behavior. I still remember that. It's one of those things that sticks out in your mind after all those years. Put my pawns on the wrong color. You ran out of kindergarten. Another funny story was the time I cut a hole in my t-shirt with scissors when I was in kindergarten. I have no idea why I did that, but I remember like the teachers were very freaked out by this. Like I just murdered the Pope or something. It was very strange. They kind of overreacted. I'm like, wait, I just cut a hole in my shirt with scissors. It's not really that big of a deal. Okay, it's not the most normal thing you can do. But there could be worse. Like, you didn't cut a hole in another person. E4. At least it was my own shirt, They're afraid I had kind of like masochistic tendencies or something. I don't know. I'm getting kind of crazy here. Again, as I said, it's martini time. It's late. I'm talking about random crazy stuff. We're up a pawn, putting the pressure on. I've got 4 challenges. Why do I have 4 challenges? Sorry, Sebi. No time, guys. We're over time already. These are the last games for today. They were concerned I might cut a hole in myself. Little did they know I was just doing it out of pure happiness. That was weird. It was a voice inside my head that told me to do it. I have no idea. All right. Guided by Voices. Good band. Man, Abu Fazl just giving me the king and pawn ending. That's a weird decision. All right. That'll do it. On to bigger and better things. I think it's time to go to the next game. Arsenal fan. I don't think you can stop that pawn. Well, you can stop it. You're going to have to let me take on g6 and then run in front of it. Or so I could play f6 as well. Takes, king there, king there, king there, king there. Goodbye. All right. Arsenal fan waited all day for this game. We're going to blitz him as fast as we can. Perfect score, so take me out. And I've got a 3-minute game with Tushar. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Soltigo, for being our moderator and all the work that you do to help to make the stream cool. He heard my analysis and resigned. I think he knew the writing was on the wall there. The Bill Wall. Pre-move. pre-moving. That was my first pre-move, like, I don't know, in 6 months or something. I've looked at this very recently. I think I had a blitz game and noticed that rarely you'll see some good player play this with black. I think queen b6 is a move. Or maybe that's just my blitz game from the other day. Bishop e4, you're playing a tempo down. It looks like you're just playing a tempo down in a kind of standard position. So, for whatever it's worth, I'm sure that I can mess this up, but that is a clear tempo down. As to what the best move is, I still don't know. Bishop g5 is interesting. Go totally Botvinnik style. Botvinnik, Bishop g5. We're making you feel the pressure. That doesn't seem right either. I could play queen b3. Knight takes d4. No, that's not a good idea. Knight c2. Got to admit, I mean, knight c2 will be fun. Letting you double my pawns, why not? That extra tempo means a lot. It really means a lot. Last 2 games. We got another challenge from somebody. Guys, I'm human. Stop challenging me. I've got to go. How do you pronounce the world champion? Uwe. And I'm not an expert, but it's basically like Uwe. You need a Dutch guy here. All right, what's up? I'm lagging again. Let's try it again. We are lagging again. Another one of those sneaky. Feels like I have to move too fast. Arsenal fan, you play like bullet chess and stuff. Shouldn't be a problem. Wedge. That is a new one. Normally you see rook e8, but he plays this. Looking to establish dominance of the d6 square. c5 seems kind of strange. The threat is stronger than the execution, right? Isn't that what they say? Queen d2 looks pretty random. Pretty random move. He just plays d5 anyway. Well, I admire your principles. 93, putting pressure on that guy. Oleg Romanician in the house. Can I get a bishop on g2? But Arsenal fan kind of making me unhappy here. I don't like that indirect pressure on my e2 pawn, man. That's not a joke. That's not nice. I had a lot of options. Turkey Farm suggesting queen d6. If you had an internal chess computer, would you use it to become world champion? No. That's cheating. Cheating is no fun. So he's probing me with queen a5. I mean, I feel like he's a genius or something. I had to play something there. Should I have played bishop takes e7 and taken the pawn? Did I miss my golden opportunity to snack on a pawn there? I can still do it. Pawn snack. It feels like I'm selling out, but I mean, what am I supposed to do? I have to do something. We're selling out to win this measly pawn. And then I don't even win a pawn. Not even winning a pawn after all that. How lame is that? So after queen a5, if I had played bishop takes e7, rook takes e7, c takes, at that point I can really win a pawn. I have other ideas. Bishop takes. It's super awkward. I like how Arsenal fan like complains that I'm moving too fast. He's actually faster than me. That's weird. You thought I was joking about e2. Yeah, it's a big problem. I did present it like a joke, but I really meant it. I wonder if it's better to play like bishop g2 there. Well, hey, we're up a pawn. It's a little like the game with Abafazl. Like, again, it's a Tarash type position where we're up a pawn, but black has some compensation. It's a popular trend here. Anyway, guys, super long stream, guys. First, Topalov's semi-retired already. You call that semi-retired? Every time I turn around, he's playing in like a major tournament, man. What are you talking about? Didn't he just play like, I don't know, in the last year, like 5 major tournaments? It's not like Judith Polgar. Anyway, my pleasure, guys. I'm just late cooking dinner. It's all good. Very cagey play by Arsenal fan. And he's fast, too. Fast and good. Compensation. Good compensation. That c3 pawn is pretty much an unhappy camper. What am I supposed to do? That doesn't seem right, but I have to do something. Okay, he's not actually threatening anything just yet. Acerbate. Trade some pieces into the endgame. Probably a draw anyway. Wasn't Topalov questioned about possible cheating? Wait, who was questioning who? I can't remember. It's so hard to remember the toilet gate controversy. Bob knows all. So queen takes a4. What does that do? Win a pawn or something? Man, it's not nice. Not nice. Wait, queen b4 doesn't work either. That sucks. Queen b7? I've got to make a move. This is probably just a draw. But I was never winning. I was just better. I mean, it's one thing to be up a pawn, but objectively, now the material is just equal. Do I have anything with rook f7? Not really. Now he's actually better. Fortunately, he missed it. Moving too fast. You're making me nervous. You're moving too fast. You're not allowed to move that fast. It's distracting when you move that fast. Oh, hung my queen. All right, man, good game. You made me jump. He gives me take back. It's a take back. All right, thank you. Wow. It's a take back. I jumped. I was like, oh my God. It's a draw. Very sportsmanlike. First, we'll force him to put his rook on c5. This is actually not really a great move, but theoretically better for white. But I'll for a draw here. He resigned. All right. I don't know why he's resigning. All right, Borsuk. Cannot play more games. Why resign, Arsenal fan? You gave me a take back. The least I can do is offer draw and a better rook ending. All right, e4. c6, last game for today. I don't know why he resigned. He was mad at himself for losing a pawn or something. Okay. Strange variation. It's a very complicated. You would have lost that. I'm not so sure with the time situation the way it was. I mean, if we really played straight up. Okay, this is sudden death. He's losing a pawn here. I don't know if like Too Sharp plays this kind of time control like regularly. I used to, but lately not so much. As most of you guys know. This is kind of an irritating position. I think I'm not even sure I'm better, actually. I guess I have to take, right? Weird position. A pawn up. It's got the dynamism thing going on. I don't know what's going on here. It's pretty imbalanced. Not the kind of position I really want to have no time. I just hung a rook. Alright, good game, man. It's past my bedtime, so good game. Dropped my rook there. I'm not used to playing 3-0. I wouldn't call it a good game, though. Anyway, Yeah, I don't do the automatic like the game. Well, anyway, thanks for the game. I think it was a bad game. I hung a rook, and you were playing kind of badly. But I think there, before I hung the rook, you had good compensation in some weird way. I don't know. It's not so easy for me to play this objectively. I'm probably winning, but it takes really good technique for black. Anyway, it's a little bit too many. Like we're over 3 hours now. I'm definitely time. It's time for martini time. I hope it was fulfilling for you because it wasn't for me. Anyway, guys, I will see you later. Tomorrow will be a blitz tournament with 5+2. Um, anyway, that'll be more like it. I don't drop rooks. I dropped my queen to a 1500 the other day. Kind of similar thing. Not really, used to playing this time control. 3 hours, 5 minutes, 50 seconds. So it wasn't really fun. That was weird. All right. Anyway, have fun, man. I will see you guys later. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Blitz tournament 5+2, 4 p.m. Thanks, Soltigo. Thanks everyone for subscribing, and have fun. Bye bye.